Hello students, welcome to our online platform. Myself Engineer PP sir, your physics mentor. So students, in today's lecture we are going to talk about some pattern of questions based on resistance, and then we will discuss about Kirchhoff's law and combination of cells. So let us talk with a pattern of question. Let us say here we are given a wire of length L and area of cross section A, and this wire has been divided into four equal parts. This wire has been divided into four equal parts. So after dividing it into four equal parts, two of them are connected in series and rest two are connected in parallel. So we have to find ratio of RS and RP. Means RS is equivalent resistance of series combination and RP is equivalent resistance in parallel combination. So in this case, what we do, we just consider that resistance directly proportional to length. Resistance is directly proportional to length of the conductor. This conducting wire has been divided into four equal parts. So there is no change in its area of cross section. So simply we consider that length of each part becomes L by 4, L by 4, L by 4, L by 4. Hence resistance of each part will be equal to R by 4. Clear? So resistance of each part is R by 4. So if these two parts are connected in series, then their equivalent resistance will be R by 2. In series, their equivalent resistance will be R by 2 by adding R by 4 plus R by 4. And in parallel combination, if we sum of their reciprocates, then our equivalent resistance is equal to R upon 8. Now we have to calculate the ratio. So R upon 2 divided by R upon 8, which is equal to 8 by 2, and our final relation is 4. So this is a pattern of question which is based on resistance. Now see next. So next pattern of question is, let us say we are given that there is a conductor of 4 ohm resistance which is connected in series with a lamp of resistance 20 ohm, and a source of 12 volt is connected across it. So in this condition we have to calculate potential difference across the lamp. So to find potential difference across the lamp, first of all find equivalent resistance connected in circuit. So see, this 4 ohm resistance and 20 ohm resistance are connected in series, so equivalent resistance is equal to 24 ohms. 4 plus 20, 24 ohms. Now let us say that current I is flowing through the source. So in this case, if current I is flowing through the source, then as 4 ohms and 20 ohms are connected in series, so current I will also flow through both the conductor and lamp. So value of current can be calculated by using the relation I is equal to V upon R equivalent. Potential difference is given as 12 volt. Equivalent resistance is given as 24 ohms. So current flowing through the source is 0.5 ampere. Current flowing through the source is 0.5 ampere. Now if we have to find potential difference across 20 ohm resistance of this lamp, then we can say that potential difference across this bulb or lamp is equal to 0.5 current into resistance of this lamp, which is 20 ohms. So potential difference across this bulb is equal to 10 volts. Now if you are also asked potential difference across this conductor of resistance 4 ohms, then it can be calculated by using the simple concept. Let us say total potential difference of source is 12 volt. Out of that, 10 volt is across the ends of this bulb, so remaining 2 volt is across the resistance of this 4 ohm. So this is another pattern of question. Now see, next pattern of question is, let us say that we are given three electrical appliances. One is, this is, let us say, electric iron of 50 ohm resistance. Let us say this is electric geyser of 100 ohm, and let us say this is a toaster of 500 ohm resistance. So these three electrical appliances of resistance 50 ohm, 100 ohm and 500 ohm are connected in parallel with a source of 220 volt. Now our question is that if this combination is replaced by an electric heater, let us say this is connected and heater. So now this combination is replaced by an heater, and same amount of potential difference is produced across its ends. Then what is the amount of current flowing through this electric heater? So its concept is very clear. Simply its language is quite confusing, but its concept is very easy. So to calculate current flowing through this heater, first of all calculate equivalent resistance of this combination. So in this combination, all three resistors are connected in parallel. So first of all, calculate its equivalent resistance by using 1 upon R equivalent is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3 formula. So here it is 1 upon 50 plus 1 upon 100 plus 1 upon 500. If we take LCM as 500, then it is 10 plus 5 plus 1. So we can say that R equivalent is equal to 500 upon 60, or you can say 250 upon 8. So this is the equivalent resistance of this combination, which is equal to resistance of heater. So let us say this R equivalent is equal to RH. RH is resistance of heater connected with source of 220 volt. Now our question is that what is the current flowing through it? So if this is the resistance of this heater, then we know the value of potential difference as 220 volt. So simply use the relation I is equal to V upon R equivalent. So if we place value of V as 220 and R equivalent as 250 upon 8, then this relation will be 220 into 8, 220 into 8 in numerator, and in denominator it is 250. So by calculating this value, we can find current flowing across the heater. So these are some pattern of questions which are based on resistance. Now see, our next topic is cell. What is an electric cell? So electric cell is basically a supply source. Basically a supply source which is defined as a device which converts chemical energy into electrical energy. So we can say that an electric cell is a device which is used to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. If we talk about the general schematic of a cell, then simply consider that in any electrolyte, two electrodes are dipped. One is positively charged and another one is negatively charged. So positively charged electrode is known as anode and negatively charged electrode is known as cathode. This is the simple schematic of a cell. So while studying cell, we focus on these three concepts, which are potential drop, then electromotive force, which is also known as EMF, and then internal resistance. So we go through these three parameters to explain cell in detail. So let us talk about each component one by one. So if we talk about first potential drop, then potential drop is simply defined as, let us say that we are having a cell. This is an electrolyte filled in it, and these two terminals are there. One is anode and another one is cathode. These two electrodes are there. So if we say that any unit positive charge is traveling from positive to negative terminal via external circuit, then work done is known as potential drop. So we can say that V is equal to W out upon Q, work done in outer circuit in moving unit positive charge. So V becomes equal to W out. This is the one relation in case of potential drop. Now if we talk about EMF, then EMF is simply defined as work done in moving. It is defined as work done in moving unit positive charge from positive to negative terminal in outer circuit and from negative to positive terminal in inner circuit. So this complete work done in motion of this unit positive charge is said to be electromotive force or EMF. In other words, we can differentiate potential difference and EMF in terms of, let us say it is potential difference in closed circuit and EMF is potential difference in open circuit. Potential difference in open circuit. It can be explained in this simple term. So EMF is defined as work done, total work done in moving unit positive charge. So whenever we purchase any cell from market, then a value of a certain voltage is printed on it, like let us say if we purchase a pencil cell, then 1.5 volt is printed on it. So this 1.5 volt is EMF of that cell. It means it can give a maximum value of 1.5 volt to any appliance connected with it. So 1.5 volt is maximum which is printed on it. So that printed value is known as EMF. And when we use that cell in electric circuit, then as much value it gives, that is known as potential drop. So this value is always less than EMF due to some internal resistance. So let us talk about potential drop due to internal resistance of cell. Potential drop due to internal resistance of cell. So first of all, if we talk about that how this internal resistance produce potential difference, so always keep in mind that this internal resistance is basically caused when this unit positive charge travels from this negative terminal to positive terminal via electrolyte. In that case, a potential difference is produced which is known as I into R. So I is current flow, R is internal resistance, and see, this is produced due to internal work done in moving this unit positive charge. So W in upon Q, so if Q is equal to plus 1 coulomb, then we can say that IR is equal to W in. So here if we place relation in potential drop EMF and potential drop due to internal resistance, then we can use simply energy conservation. So this is the concept based on energy conservation. So let us see how it is used. So total work done is equal to total internal work done plus total external work done. It means W total is equal to W in plus W out. So hence we can say W total is equal to E, W in is equal to V, and W out is equal to IR. So we can say V is equal to E minus IR. V is equal to E minus IR. So let us see this relation. So see, V is equal to E minus IR. So this relation shows that our given cell is being connected in electric circuit with an appliance. It means we can say that our cell is in use. Or in other words, we can say that cell is discharging. Because it is connected in a circuit. So in case of discharging, this relation states that potential drop across that cell is always less than its EMF. Because of this internal resistance. This internal resistance also produces a potential difference IR. So if we subtract IR from EMF of cell, then we found potential drop across its ends. But when we charge any cell, whenever we charge any cell with the help of external source, then in that case direction of current is being reversed. So here it becomes V is equal to E plus IR, or we can say from this relation that while charging the cell, its potential difference now becomes larger than its EMF because current is being supplied to it. So these are two relations, and questions can be asked based on both the relations. Direct relations can also be asked in your competitive section. So keep in mind, in case of discharging, potential drop is always less than E. In this case, V is always less than E, and in case of charging, V is always greater than E. And what is that factor which increases or decreases this relation? That factor is IR. Means potential drop due to internal resistance. So if we have to calculate internal resistance of the cell, then we can use this relation while discharging. So R is equal to E minus V upon I. This relation is derived from case of discharging. So small r is equal to E minus V upon I, and we know that I is equal to V upon R from Ohm's law. So if we place I is equal to V upon R, then our relation becomes E minus V upon V into capital R. So here E is EMF, V is potential drop, and capital R is amount of load resistance. Whichever is being connected in circuit with the help of cell. So here I have drawn a circuit diagram consisting of all the values. Let us say we are having a cell of EMF E. Its internal resistance is represented with it, which is small r. Let's write it here. This is the value of small r, and this r is load resistance. Load resistance. So see here, potential difference, potential drop is produced across its ends. Clear? This is EMF. Let us say current I is flowing through it. So this relation can be calculated from this relation. Now see, if we talk about internal resistance, so let us discuss internal resistance. So internal resistance is what? Hindrance in flow of current, in electrolyte. Clear? When unit positive charge travels from negative to positive terminal. So whenever charge travels from negative to positive terminal via electrolyte, then this electrolyte produce some hindrance in flow of current, which is known as internal resistance. So see, if I draw a schematic of this cell again, then let us say this is any electrolyte. These are two terminals which are anode and cathode, let us say A and C. So factors affecting this internal resistance, factors affecting internal resistance. So these factors are separation between the electrodes, So see, this charge is being traveled from negative terminal to positive terminal via this electrolyte. So if separation will be larger between anode and cathode, then it will take more time to travel. Rather, you can say that this charge will take more time to reach at anode. It means it will have to face more hindrance. If more hindrance is there, then internal resistance is also large. So this separation, if I say that separation is D, then this internal resistance is directly proportional to this separation. Larger the separation between the electrodes, larger the value of internal resistance due to increased hindrance. Then area of electrodes dipped in electrolyte. Let us say area of electrodes dipped in electrolyte is A. Then if large area of these electrodes are dipped into this electrolyte, then this area has a tendency to capture this charge at very speedy speedy pace, you can say. So if we say that area of cross section is A, then we can say it is reciprocal. It means larger the area of dipped electrolyte into dipped electrode into this electrolyte, smaller the value of internal resistance, because it can easily catch, or it can be collected. This charge can be collected at anode with speedy pace. Then third factor which affects this internal resistance is concentration of this electrolyte. This is concentration of electrolyte. So if I say that its concentration is low, means it is dilute or concentrated. So if dilute, then this charge will easily travel to reach at anode. It means in case of dilute electrolyte, resistance is decreased, and if electrolyte is concentrated, then resistance will increase, because it will travel with very low pace. As particles or molecules of this electrolyte are much closer, so resistance will be increased. So these are some factors which affects internal resistance of a cell. Now see, a question is given. We are given that there is a cell of 3 volt EMF. This 3 volt is EMF. This 3 volt is EMF of the cell. Internal resistance of cell is given as 0.5 ohms, and this cell is connected across load of 10 ohm resistance. Load of 10 ohm resistance, and we have to find value of current flowing through the load. Value of current flowing through the load. So you can directly remember the formula that current is equal to EMF of cell divided by equivalent resistance. So see, equivalent resistance of the circuit, this is load resistance, and if we see at another resistance which is internal resistance of that cell, then both are in series combination. So equivalent resistance is capital R plus small r. So you can directly use this relation, I is equal to E upon R plus R, or you can find this relation from here. We know that V is equal to E minus IR and V is equal to I into R. I into R. So we can say that I now becomes equal to E upon capital R plus small r. So here EMF is given as 3 volt. So 3 divided by 10 plus 0.5 is equal to 3 upon 10.5 ampere. So this value can be calculated from here. So this is a simple pattern of question. You should keep in mind that whatever the load resistance is given with a cell and its internal resistance, then that load resistance can be added into internal resistance to find equivalent value. Now, combination of cells. So if we combine these cells, different given cells into series combination, then let us see what happens. So I am considering here that 3 cells of EMF E1, E2, E3 and internal resistance R1, R2, R3 are connected in series with a load resistance capital R. So in this condition, when you connect, or whenever you are given a question based on series combination of cells, then simply you have to keep in mind that these resistors R1, R2 and R3, these are also connected in series. So equivalent resistance can be calculated by series combination of resistors. So it is R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2 up to Rn. And if I say that all the electric cells are having similar equivalent or similar values of internal resistances, it means if R1, R2 all resistors are equal, then it is equal to N into R. Equivalent resistance of this series combination is equal to now N into R. And if we talk about its equivalent EMF, then in series combination, if there are n cells, then equivalent EMF can be calculated by adding EMF of all individual cells connected in series. It means E1 plus E2 plus E3 up to En. Or again, if I consider that all the cells connected in series combination are having equal EMF, then E equivalent will be Ne. So this is the another pattern which is based on series combination of cells. Now see, it is clear from our relation E equivalent is equal to Ne that if we combine different cells in series combination, then equivalent EMF will always be equal to sum of their individual EMFs. It means in any electric circuit where larger EMF is required, then we connect cells in series combination, and such a combination is known as battery. So when different cells are connected in series, then they form a battery. So here equivalent current, or you can say total current flowing through the load resistance. So in this case, total current flowing through the load resistance is equal to E equivalent divided by capital R plus small r equivalent. So as I told you earlier, that whenever you find current in any circuit where internal resistance and load resistance are given, then simply keep the relation E upon R plus small r. So this capital R plus R equivalent is known as equivalent resistance of the circuit. So you can clearly see from here that R1, R2, R3 all are connected in series with load resistance capital R. So here total resistance becomes equal to capital R plus small r equivalent. So I is equal to E equivalent is equal to Ne and R equivalent is equal to Nr. place these values. So I is equal to n e upon capital R plus small n r. And if I consider here a special case where internal resistance of each cell is considered to be 0, internal resistance of each cell is considered to be 0, then in that case maximum current will flow through the load resistance. So I maximum is equal to Ne upon capital R. So Ne is sum of EMFs of all the cells connected in circuit. So this is the simple concept of series combination of the cells. Now if we talk about parallel combination, then in case of parallel combination, let us say that we are having three different cells of EMFs E1, E2, E3 and internal resistance R1, R2, R3. These three cells are connected in parallel with each other and a load resistance is connected across their ends. Clear? So this is a load resistance. Now we are considering again, let us say that current I is flowing through the load resistance. So here three cells are connected in parallel. So it is very clear to us that current through each cell will be different. Current through each cell will be different. So let us say it is I1, I2, I3 currents are flowing respectively from cells of EMF E1, E2 and E3. So if I found value of I1, I2, I3, then let us see what is the approach. Second thing which you should know in parallel combination, that if I say potential drop or potential difference across the load resistance is equal to V is equal to IR, it means these three cells are connected in parallel, so potential drop across ends of each cell will be similar. Means V1 is equal to V2 is equal to V3 and this potential difference is equal to V. V is potential difference across the load resistance because all the appliances are connected, all the cells are connected in parallel. So V1 is equal to E1 minus I1 R1, V2 is equal to E2 minus I2 R2. Similarly, V3 is equal to E3 minus I3 R3. But V1, V2, V3 are equal. So we can say that current of I1, the current I1 as E1 minus V upon R1, current I2 as E2 minus V upon R2 and current I3 as E3 minus V upon R3 because V is constant in each cell. Now if we calculate value of I, then see I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. I1 plus I2 plus I3 is equal to total current flowing through the load resistance. So it is E1 upon R1 minus V upon R1 plus A2 upon R2 minus V upon R2 plus A3 upon R3 minus V upon R3. So from here I am concluding two relations. Let us see. This is the first relation. So this first relation is again based on combination of resistors. So in parallel combination of resistors, we know that reciprocal of equivalent resistance is equal to sum of reciprocal of all individual resistances. So we discussed in our previous lecture about the combination of resistors. So here in combination, in parallel combination of cells also, equivalent resistance or rather equivalent internal resistance is 1 upon R equivalent is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 up to 1 upon Rn. This is the simple concept. Then second concept is E equivalent upon R equivalent. So it can be calculated from here E1 upon R1 plus E2 upon R2 plus E3 upon R3. So if three cells are here, then it is E1 upon R1 plus E2 upon R2 plus E3 upon R3. But if there are n cells, then in case of n cells, E equivalent upon R equivalent will be equal to E1 upon R1 plus E2 upon R2 plus E3 upon R3 up to En upon Rn. So this is the relation E equivalent upon R equivalent. Now see, again if we consider the similar case that all the cells are of equal EMF and equal internal resistance, then if I say here that all the internal resistance are similar, then 1 upon R plus 1 upon R plus 1 upon R. If we add 1 upon R n times, then 1 upon R equivalent is equal to 1 upon R equivalent is equal to n upon R. N upon R and R equivalent is equal to R upon N. Reciprocate it. So R equivalent is equal to R upon N. Clear? So this is the value of equivalent resistance when all the cells are of equal internal resistance. And if we calculate value of E equivalent upon R equivalent, then in this condition, let us see from here this relation. So E upon R plus E upon R plus E upon R. So if we add all these values n times, then our relation will be equal to N E upon R. So here if I place value of R equivalent, then E equivalent is equal to N E upon R into R equivalent is R upon N. So N is cancel out and E equivalent is now equal to E. It means in parallel combination of cells. In parallel combination of cells, equivalent EMF is equal to EMF of any cell because all are connected in parallel. All are connected in parallel. So it is value of E equivalent. Similarly, again, if I use the concept of finding electric current through the load resistance, then this can be achieved by using the relation I is equal to E equivalent upon capital R plus small r equivalent. So see again, E equivalent is taken as small e, R equivalent is taken as small r upon N. So if I take N as LCM, then our relation is found to be I is equal to N E upon N into capital R plus small r. Clear? And again, if I consider that internal resistance of cell is 0, internal resistance of cell is 0, then see it is N E upon N R. N is cancel out and our current through the load resistance now remains E upon R. It means in this condition, if internal resistance of each cell is equal to 0, then in that case current flowing through the load resistance is independent of number of cells connected in parallel. So you can clearly see from this relation that I is independent of N. It means if there are 2 cells or 3 cells or 10 cells, then there will be no change in amount of current if all cells are of equal EMF and 0 internal resistance. Keep in mind. So this is the concept of parallel combination of cells. So these are general concepts of cells and similar simple pattern of questions are asked from this relation. Now see Kirchhoff's laws. So if we talk about Kirchhoff's law, then Kirchhoff's law is basically used to analyze or used to solve the complicated electric circuits. Complicated electric circuits. So complicated electric circuits are analyzed with the help of Kirchhoff's law. Kirchhoff predicted 2 laws. One is based on current and another one is based on potential difference or you can say voltage. So one is KCL, Kirchhoff current law. It is also known as junction law. Second one is KVL, Kirchhoff voltage law. Kirchhoff voltage law is also known as loop law or mesh law. So these two laws are generally used to analyze any complicated electric circuit. So let us see how. First law, KCL, Kirchhoff current law. Kirchhoff current law. So Kirchhoff current law states that at any junction of an electric circuit, algebraic sum of current is always 0. Algebraic sum of electric current is always 0. So first of all, you should know about this junction. What is junction? So junction is what? A point situated in electric circuit where 2 or more branches meets. So if 2 or more branches meets at any point in an electric circuit, then that point is said to be junction. So at that junction point, algebraic sum of total current is equal to 0. It means we can say that total current which is entering towards the junction is equal to total current which is leaving the junction. Clear? This is the simple concept. If we talk about sign convention for KCL, then sign convention is very clear. Current which enters toward the junction is taken as positive and current which leaves the junction is taken as negative. So current toward the junction is taken as positive and current leaving the junction is taken as negative. So similarly, I am taking an example here. Let us say this is a junction point of an electric circuit where these 5 branches are meeting. These 5 branches meets at this point. Let us say these are the directions of different currents I1, I2, I3, I4, I5. So what this law states that algebraic sum at this junction point should be 0. So summation I is equal to 0. It means use the sign convention and place its values as 0. So total current coming towards the junction. So let us say it is I1 and I4. So I1 and I4 are coming towards the junction. So they are taken as positive, and I2, I3 and I5 are moving away from the junction. So they are taken as negative. In other words, we can say that total current entering towards the junction is equal to total current leaving the junction. So this is the Kirchhoff's current law. See, from this relation, another conclusion is made that total current which enters the junction is equal to total current which leaves the junction. It means there is no charge on that junction. Means no charge is accumulated on that junction in that time period. It means total charge remains constant. Total charge remains constant. Hence, we can say that Kirchhoff current law simply obeys charge conservation law. Charge conservation law. So KCL is based on charge conservation. Keep in mind. Then we talk about KVL. KVL, Kirchhoff voltage law, loop law, or mesh law. So one thing which you should be very clearly understood is that it is applicable for closed loops. Kirchhoff's voltage law is applicable only for closed loops. Its mathematical relation can be summation V is equal to 0. So summation V is equal to 0 states that algebraic sum of all the potential drops in a closed loop is equal to 0. Algebraic sum of all the potential differences in a closed loop is equal to 0. Or you can say summation IR is equal to summation E. It means total potential algebraic sum of potential differences across all the resistors connected in closed loop is equal to algebraic sum of all the EMFs connected in that loop. So summation IR is equal to summation E. Now see its sign convention. So its sign convention is whenever we move in a circuit in a way and positive terminal of cell come first, positive terminal of a cell comes first, then its EMF is taken as negative. Its EMF is taken as negative. So its EMF will be negative. And if we move in an electric circuit and negative terminal comes first, then EMF will be positive. EMF will be positive. So this is the sign convention for EMF of a cell. Now sign convention for potential drop across the resistor. Across the resistor. So let us say that if we move in the direction of current, if we move in the direction of current and resistor comes there, then potential drop across this resistance is positive. And if we travel in opposite direction of current flow, if we travel in opposite direction of current flow, then potential difference across that resistor is taken as negative. So this is the sign convention for Kirchhoff's law. Now see another concept which we should use here, that summation V is equal to 0 or summation IR is equal to summation E. It means here we can say that in case of Kirchhoff voltage law, total energy is conserved. It means it is based on energy conservation. Kirchhoff voltage law is based on energy conservation. Clear? So keep in mind Kirchhoff current law is based on charge conservation and Kirchhoff voltage law is based on energy conservation. Now see, let us explain it with an example. So here I have taken an example. A cell of EMF E1 is connected with a resistance R1. In another branch a resistance R2 is connected, and in another branch a cell of EMF E2 and resistance R3 are connected in branch ED. So let us say this is a circuit, electric circuit A B C D E F A. So here in this electric circuit there are three closed loops. Here are three closed loops. So which are these loops? First one is A, B, C, D, E, F, A. This outer loop A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So close loop will be closed if our starting point and final point are at a similar place. Similarly, second loop is A, B, C, F, A. So second loop is A, B, C, F, A. Then third loop is C, D, E, F, C. So it is C, D, E, F, C. This is the third loop. So in this electric circuit, whenever you are asked to calculate current flow I1, I2, or if you have to calculate value of any unknown resistance or whatever quantity which is unknown to us can be calculated by using Kirchhoff's law in this circuit. So first of all apply KCL. First of all apply KCL. So see, I am considering here that from cell of EMF E1 current I1 is flowing. Similarly from cell of EMF E2 current I2 is flowing. So let us say this current I1 is flowing towards the junction F, towards the junction F. Let us see another point, another concept which you have to keep in mind, that if any current I1 is traveling from positive terminal of a cell, then same amount of current should also enter into its negative terminal. Same amount of current should also travel into its negative terminal. Similarly, if I am considering that current I2 is traveling from its positive terminal, then current I2 should also enter into its negative terminal. Clear? So at this junction point F, let us say current I1 is coming towards the junction, current I2 is leaving the junction. So net current is I1 minus I2, which is flowing in branch FC, which is flowing in branch FC. So if you find charge conservation or KCL at this junction F, then let us see, sum of total incoming currents is equal to sum of total outgoing currents. You can verify your KCL at every junction. So I1 minus I2 minus I1 plus I2. So net current is 0, means summation I is 0. It means it is obeying KCL. Then if we talk about current flow from D to C, then it is I2. Current I1 minus I2 is coming towards C. So again, at junction point, I1 minus I2 and I2 both are traveling towards the junction. So total current is I1 minus I2 plus I2. So it is minus I2 plus I2, 0. It means remaining current is I1, which will travel from C to B, and it is the value. Clear? So this is the application of KCL. Now we have to calculate value of I1 and I2. So to find value of two unknown quantities, we require two equations. So these two equations can be find out by using any two loops. So I am considering here two loops. First one as A, B, C, F, A, and another one is F, C, D, E, F. Let us say we are considering or we are moving in any direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise. So I have considered here rotation in anti-clockwise direction, and let us say I am going to start just after the cell of EMF E1. So if I travel from A to F, then no appliance is connected. As I travel from F to C, then C, we are traveling in the direction of current flow. So potential difference across its ends, I1 minus I2 into R2, is taken as positive. Similarly, when we travel from C to B, no appliance is connected, and when we travel from B to A, then again resistance is in direction of electric current, and we are also moving in the same direction. So it is also taken as positive, is equal to, if negative terminal of cells comes first, then its EMF is taken as positive. So it is E1. So this is the general concept. Now if we talk about next loop, F, C, D, E, F, then in this loop also, let us say I am traveling from this point D. Then when we travel from D to C, then no electric appliance is connected across it. Now we are moving from C to F. So we are moving from C to F, and current is flowing from F to C. It means our traverse in this loop is in opposite direction of electric current. It means potential drop across this resistor is negative. So it is minus of I1 minus I2 into R2, which is equal to E2. E2 is, see, from F2 no appliance is connected, and then we move towards cell E2, then negative terminal is there, it means its EMF is again taken as positive. So this is the relation. So we have got these two equations, and from these two equations we can calculate any two unknown values, any two unknown values. So that's it from today's class. Today we have concluded combination of cells, how questions are asked from cells, and Kirchhoff's law and its application in circuits. We will discuss some more pattern of questions based on this Kirchhoff law in our next video. So till then, thank you. Thank you for watching today's video. We will meet in next video with our next topic. Thank you.